Hi everyone. Well, I've just taken up the last 2 rows of potatoes on the 3rd allotment. You saw me take up the Picasso the other day and the yield was awful. Well, these are Charlotte, and there were 2 rows, 14 seed potatoes, just the same, and I think they went into the ground about 2 months after the Picasso, and I have to say the yield is quite a bit better, and the potatoes are in better condition as well. There's a little bit of scab, but on the whole they're really nice. Hard to fathom nature, isn't it, sometimes? The main crop had twice as long, but they've not really done any better. Catch you later. Hi, welcome back. Well, it's another glorious day. It's a little bit breezy, but it's beautiful, really nice, about 18 to 19 degrees, and I've got, as you can see over my shoulder, a couple of the potato beds emptied and levelled off, and now I've got to continue with what we'll call Operation Cover Up. So I've got to go and get some more manure. It's a little bit warm, but there's a nice breeze, so I shouldn't get too hot under the collar. Alright, catch you in a bit. Bye. Well, I'm going to start with a 20 foot by 9 foot bed, and as you can see I've got 2 wheelbarrowfuls there already, and you can tell by the colour that it's hot off the press, as it were. It's a little bit green, the one on the right, so that's probably from last night's clear out. So wheelbarrows at the ready. I'm going to get some more. And off we go, down the hill. Round the corner. Up the lane. And into the manure bay. And you can see there's not much left because we've had most of it. But there are probably 4 or 5 barrows at the back and another 4 or 5 at the front. So we'll get that cleared out, and then it's easier for the paddock owners to access. And off we go, back down the lane, and you can see our greenhouse, the long one, just up there on the horizon. And with a sharp intake of breath, back up the hill. And then wallop onto the bed. Or should that be dollop? I don't know. Catch you later. Well, that's the bed done. This is going to take this week on next year, and I've moved about 22 barrowfuls of manure, and it's quite a trek. I think it's about 330 metres round trip to the dump, to the manure bay. 20 trips is about 6,000 metres, 6 kilometres. So it might be free, the manure, but to fill a bed like this you've got to walk about 3.5 to 4 miles. But it's good exercise, and I've had my cup of tea now. It's taken me about an hour and a half. So I'm going to put my feet up, have a nice cup of tea and a biscuit. Catch you later. Hi, well, I enjoyed my cup of tea, and it's that time of the day again now. I've got to go home and make a start on the tea. And I was just walking out of the allotment when I thought I'll just check the little patch of yellow beans, dwarf beans, that I sowed as an afterthought. and these went in, I think, probably around the middle of July, so they were quite late. But we've had good weather, haven't we? And a little bit of rain recently, and I've just taken quite a nice picking, really. About 2 meals worth there for the two of us, and plenty more that have still to yellow up. So I'm off home now. Also had a chat with another allotment holder, and was gifted a handful of conference pears. So it's nice not to leave the allotment empty-handed. So today's no exception. So with my empty flask in hand, I'm off home now. So I'll catch you later in the week, maybe. Cheers. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's another glorious day today. Started off a little bit cold, but it's warming up nicely. And I've no work today, so I'm happy. And I've come down just to do a few other things that you rarely get a chance to do. So I've raked off the bed that we covered with manure yesterday, but now I've decided to layer up my compost bay. This bay's about 2 metres by 1.50 metre, and we've put probably about 60% of all the green matter, the waste matter, off the allotment into here this year. So the usual stuff, you know, your brassica heads and foliage and whatnot. But in addition to that, I've also put some straw in. When we put the stable bedding on the no-dig beds, there was enough left over to put about a foot deep layer into this bay, and there was quite a bit of manure in with it as well, so hopefully that'll act as an activator. And then on top of that, I put some of the softwood cuttings off of the apple trees in, so I've got like a sprung layer, if you will, with lots of green wood, softwood that will rot down, but that should hopefully provide some aeration. And then on top of that, I've put the gherkin, the remains of the gherkin plants. You might just see one or two bleached, oversized gherkin poking out there. And I also put the dwarf bean plants from the long raised bed in here as well. So this morning I've started to put some brown material in, and lots of packaging. We've got 2 daughters that are both at university, and they always need things, so we hang on to all the packaging, all the toilet roll middles, the kitchen towel middles, all of that stuff, and some of the recyclable filler paper that comes inside packaging as well. So we've got a nice brown layer now. I'm going to water this, and then the plan is to put some spent hops on top, maybe a couple of sacks, because I've about 20 and have to pick up about another 8 or 10. There will be some grass cuttings as well, because the no-dig plot needs a cut, and there'll also be some leaves from the comfrey plants, because we've got tubs full of comfrey feed, which should do for the start of next season. So we've to cut back the plants, so they'll go in as well. And then we'll be ready for another brown layer, and there should be enough left in this box, this cardboard box, to do that. So I'm going to wet this down now, and then I might go and get perhaps some either some comfrey or some spent hops. And that's the cardboard nicely wetted down, and I've just brought down 2 nice sacks of spent hops. These are quite old now, they're probably a couple of months old, so they'll be a bit smelly, but that means they've started to break down, which is a good thing. So I'll get these put on. Well, 2 bags wasn't quite enough, so I've just gone and got another 2, so that'll be 4 bags, and it'll break up like this here. I'll spread it out a little bit. You can see it's full of flies, which is a good thing, as long as you don't get bitten. So I'll get these next 2 bags on. And that's the spent hops, nicely spread out, 4 sacks, probably about 150 weight by weight. It does take quite a while to rot down this, but I'm going to put some comfrey leaves on top, so hopefully that'll help with the breakdown. So off to get the comfrey now. Just over at the comfrey patch now, and I just thought I'd show you this nice juicy red tomato. It's the last really big one of the season. I think it's a Caspian pink and close to £2, and it owes its size in part to being fed on comfrey tea. Now the plants, like the courgettes, have suffered a little bit with the lack of water, and the leaves are silvering off, but you can see they're still in flower. But it's really important, before you take the leaves, which are down here in the wheelbarrow, it's really important that you nip out all the budding flowers. This is because some varieties of comfrey are self-propagating. If you get the Bocking 14 variety, that's a sterile plant, so you can take root cuttings, but the seed won't lead to your plant spreading. But this is not. This is one I sowed myself, and I only had 2 plants that germinated, and they went in about 4 years ago, and now I've got about 14 or 15 at either side of this little bit of chicken wire fencing. And you can see I've just in a rough and ready fashion ripped all the leaves off, but not before taking the seed first. The other thing you need to do as well is be very careful not to take any root on the base of the plants, because if you yank at it, sometimes you'll lift a bit of root up and the root will grow as well inside your compost, and you don't want that. So that's the first wheelbarrow full. I think there might be about another barrow full waiting to be picked just there, so we'll get this down to the cold compost bay before we're blown away by the wind. Well, that's all of the comfrey foliage on the cold compost heap now. Leaves from about 15 plants, and they will start and grow back, but they'll not grow very big now towards the middle of autumn. Always be careful as well when you're handling comfrey. Wear gloves, because it can cause some minor skin irritation. So that's the cold compost bay dealt with for this week. In this last week it's had the green matter from the dwarf beans and the gherkins, all the plants that were dying off. It's had straw, it's had cardboard, paper, been wetted down, then a layer of spent hops, and now some comfrey leaves. I'm going to cut the grass possibly later today, or if not today, tomorrow, and I might put some grass clippings on here as well, and then I'll put another layer of cardboard and paper, wet it down, and then cover it up, and we'll see whether we can generate some heat while we've still got some sun in the early part of autumn. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm off to have a cup of tea now, and then I've been tempted by these elderberries opposite. I might make some elderberry jelly, so that might be a little job for after my cup of tea. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, enjoy the coming weekend, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers, bye.